Welcome to See You on the Other Side, where the world of the mysterious collides with the world of entertainment. A discussion of art, music, movies, spirituality, the weird, and self-discovery. And now, your hosts, musicians and entertainers who have their own weakness for the weird, Mike and Wendy from the band Sunspot.
Today, we're talking about dreams. Wendy, how often a week do you think you dream?
I think I dream probably every night. I don't always remember them, though.
So do you write them down or anything like that? Or do you keep like a dream journal? I mean, I remember girls in high school and stuff keeping dream journals. Do girls still do that?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they do. Yes, I have friends who do that. I don't actually do that because what happens when I dream is that usually I wake up and I remember having had a dream, but I don't actually remember what it was about. And then as the day goes on, it'll sort of slowly trickle back to me.
Okay.
So it's kind of weird because I'll just remember a little piece. And usually by the end of the day, then I'll have the whole story and I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that. But I don't wake up and immediately recall it. So
All right.
It's hard to journal.
Yeah, I know. I do sometimes. I try to write my dreams down, and because I like to remember the weird ones. I haven't had a weird one in a while. I was looking through the different places I write them down, and I had in April I had a dream that there were some Nazi-like wizards who could read your mind and then control your body, and were overlords of a tree kingdom that I knew people who lived in this tree kingdom.
Sci-fi much?
A little bit. I don't know why. I don't know what I wasn't reading anything fanciful in April, so I don't know why. There was it's those wizards in the tree kingdom. But then I woke up and I fell asleep. I fell asleep again. I had the same kind of dream later on, and you were in the next one.
Whoa, it must have been awesome.
Yeah, of course. We were at a music conference, and then there was a guy that wanted to control my mind and make me crash my car. And we had to hide out from him in an old hotel. But it's not like an old gross hotel, just like a hotel that was built in the 80s. And we were hidden in a conference room, and we had to pretend to have band practice there because we had to pretend to go about our normal lives so that this person wouldn't try to control my mind.
Wow.
And also, the only way we could get into the hotel was through an underground river.
That is awesome.
So, yeah.
Was it like Willy Wonka in the chocolate factory, the little river that goes through the tunnel and everything?
Yeah, I mean, there definitely was a tunnel. I remember the tunnel opening, and then we walked into it. Looked like a hotel conference room from the 1980s hotel.
Interesting. Well, oftentimes I can piece together like the origin of why I'm dreaming something because of things that recently happened.
Yeah.
So since Sunspot stays at a lot of crappy old hotels, maybe that seeped into your subconscious.
Yeah, that might have influenced me a little bit. No, that was kind of a weird one. And then one time in June, or this last June, I woke up and I had dreamed that I was hired to work on a web series. Like, like a TV show, like that's just shown on the web, like Dr. Horrible or some shit on Hulu. And I was hired to be an Al Pacino impersonator, but I have no idea why I was hired to be an Al Pacino impersonator because I don't even do a very good Al Pacino. I don't even do an Al Pacino impression. So, like, why would I want to be like? All I would do, even if I wanted to be an Al Pacino impersonator, would be like trying to talk like he did from The Scent of a Woman. But I sound like Foghorn Leghorn, and I wouldn't be able to do that because he's always so loud and everything, and I just don't even have an Al Pacino impression.
Well, maybe your subconscious is trying to direct you to another career path.
To learn an Al Pacino impression. that is perfect. That is absolutely, that might happen. An Al Pacino impression.
It could. But, today we're talking about lucid dreams. And Mike, I know this is a topic that you've spent a lot of time researching and actually working on. So maybe you could tell us a little about your background with that.
Sure. Well, no, I love the idea of lucid dreams. So the people who don't know what lucid dreams are, is that's if you just say, "Man, don't you wish you could control your dreams?" That's what a lucid dream is. That's what it means. And I first started
But
being interested. Oh, go ahead.
sorry, but it's not just controlling. It's not controlling like I want to have a dream about this. It's like being yourself in your dream and being able to do dream-like things, right? Like flying or non.
Yeah, it wouldn't just be controlling the outcome like you're writing the story. It would be, you.
Participating in the dream.
Yes, yes, and the reason I really got interested in it is because I used to have, horrible nightmares when I was a little one. So
Aw.
yeah, no, I always had the same. I mean, it was really.
Mike, didn't you know you're not supposed to eat ice cream before bed? It gives you nightmares.
That's what I was told. That's why I snuck it in, and my parents would feed me ice cream before bed because they wanted to torture me. No, I saw Night of the Living Dead. It scared me to death, and then we wasn't able to stop thinking about Night of the Living Dead for like 6 years. I saw it when I was like 6, and I mean, if you ever see the original one, it's scary, but it's cheesy. It's a corny movie. The special effects are horrible. It's black and white. My dad and my sister were watching it, and they were making fun of it. Because they were like, "Look at this, that guy. Ooh, that's a real scary zombie. Look, I think he's eating a chicken leg." It was stuff like that. And so, I mean, because it really was cheesy. And I was just watching it, and I was like, "Oh my!" All the ideas of it, the idea that you're all eventually going to die, the idea that the end of the world coming and there's nothing you can do about it, the idea that you can't get along because, I mean, there's just something in the human condition where you can't get along. All those different things really, they all had a profound effect on me. I think the fact is that it's not just an unhappy ending, because I've watched plenty of things with an unhappy ending. It was the fact that it's unhappy in that the world is going to end.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I think a lot of those movies when you're younger too, in spite of the cheesy effects and whatnot, because as a child you have a more vivid imagination, and so it's like I think a lot of the horror movies that I saw as a kid were extremely frightening to me. But nowadays things are much more graphic and realistic, but not as scary. So
yeah, I think you're exactly right, and it was the atmosphere of unavoidable dread that you are now just waiting to die. That really, I mean, it just terrified me because it just was. Things got worse and worse and worse until then. Now you're just waiting to die by the end of the movie. And that freaked me out pretty bad. So I had zombie nightmares, oh man, like 3 or 4 times a week for like years. So I was interested in lucid dreaming from a very young age. That's really because I would wake up in the middle of the night and I wouldn't want to fall back asleep because it's like I know what's going to happen when I fall back asleep. All my friends are going to be eaten. I'm going to watch my family die and then turn around and then try to eat me, and then the world's going to end. So do you really want to go? Like if you like now I lay me down to sleep, pray the Lord my soul to keep. Right? Every time I went to sleep, I would go see the world end. So I never wanted to go. So I wanted to do something about it.
well, that's cool. I mean, that's awesome that you found an option for managing that. Because a lot of times people feel they don't have control over their dreams, and you just once your eyes are shut, you're at the mercy of your mind.
Right, your subconscious. And
right. So what kinds of things, when you were trying to learn how to do this, I mean, you read books, you watch videos, or listen to audiobooks?
I looked it up in a magazine called Omni that was really popular in... Well, I don't know if it was popular, but like in the 1980s. So Omni would print science fiction, and it would also print like stories about fringe technology, and that's why Omni was it was really neat magazine. And so I looked up some stuff in Omni, and they had things about trying to. I didn't even buy the magazine. I saw that something's about lucid dreaming or control your dreams or something, and it was just on the newsstand. And so I just read the whole article when I was like 8. I just like, I'm like, my parents like, it's time to go. And I'm like, give me 2 minutes and I'm going to finish this. And so I read it and it would have different tips so that you would know when you're dreaming. And
such as?
And I think that, number one is the reality check. And this is the one that everybody kind of gets to when they talk about lucid dreaming, is that look at a piece of paper and try to read something, or look at something on a chalkboard or wherever you are. So if you're in a dream, look at a sign. Do you see a stop sign? Okay, now turn away. Now look back. Does it say the same thing? In a dream, it might not.
Okay.
In real life, of course, it's going to. But the idea is you get used to having a reality check in real life every hour or every couple hours.
Wow.
So every couple hours, what you're going to do is you're like, hey, look at that sign. Am I dreaming? And you know you're not dreaming, but you tell yourself, you kind of get that ingrained. So then you have a kind of reality check in your own daily life. And you do that. So you look at a watch. You look at a watch. What time is it? If you look at it, it's the same time, then obviously you're not dreaming. But if you look at it, it's a different time than you are. There's digital watches, or any digital display anywhere, any sign, anything that changes. You ask yourself, are you dreaming? And that kind of the reality check is kind of what kicks it off. So then you understand whether or not you are awake or you are asleep.
So you started doing that every day and doing the hourly check-in. And when was the first time that you had a dream that you actually realized you were dreaming and not?
Well, I mean, then I actually took control. I was 12. No, 12. I'd say so. I was 6th grade. I took control of a dream, and I was being chased by zombies. Always, they love me. Oh God, they love me. And then I was in some forest or whatever, and then I found an anti-zombie medallion. I realized I was dreaming. I'm like, hey, I can use this medallion to make them go away. And then
That's awesome. And where do I go to find this forest and this medallion?
You go inside your mind. Inside your mind is the place you go.
Oh, okay.
And so, that's what Queensryche sings about in their song Silent Lucidity. So, dreams are something very popular everybody sings about dreams.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Right, Mariah Carey sings about dreams. But it takes a certain kind of band to sing about lucid dreams, to sing about controlling them and doing something with it. And it's usually, like a prog rock band. In high school, I opened up for a prog rock band called Lucid Dreams, actually. And I'm like, oh, that's a pretty cool name. And nobody else knew what it was, but those guys did. So at least I thought that was cool. But it's very proggy type of name to be thinking about.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
Control your dreams in 7/8. So, but Queensryche and Sound Lucidity, they were I think they were the first band that actually had a top 40 hit about controlling your dreams. I mean, lucidity's in the name, and let me read you some of the lyrics here.
Okay.
There's a place I like to hide, a doorway that I run to in the night. Relax, child, you were there, but only didn't realize it, and you were scared. It's a place where you'll learn to face your fears, retrace the years, and ride the whims of your mind. Commanding in another world, suddenly you hear and see this magic new dimension. All right. I mean, Queensryche.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So.
The crazy thing too is everybody recognizes that song the second it comes on, but
yes.
You really don't realize that kind of poetry that's in there.
No. Right. Ride the whims of your mind. Commanding in another world. Obviously, these guys were thinking about lucid dreams in 1990 when they worked on this song. So that's one of the kind of mainstream mentions of controlling your dreams and stuff like that. But one of our favorite bands, Wendy, also did that. That's one of everybody's favorites, and that's Creed. which really made radio better for years. Anyway, so I did not know this until I was looking up and doing research on that. And this is a song I've heard a million times because I owned a radio in 1999. But the song, Can You Take Me Higher, is about Scott Stapp and his lucid dreams.
No, I did not know that.
Yeah, so Scott Stapp's lucid dreams. He's got a hunger and a longing to escape the life he lives when he's awake. The place where blind men see and the place with golden streets is Scott's lucid dreams.
That is really actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
You've given that song a little redeeming factor.
Yeah. There's no verse about what he dreams about, which is making that sex tape with Kid Rock. That's where he goes back. That's his safe. That's his safe place where he's strong enough, and that's the place where blind men see that night.
Oh my
but
gosh!
Although if I could make my earth and my dreams the same, the only difference is he'd let love replace all of our hate. Let's go there and let's make our escape. So yeah, Higher is all about Scott Stapp controlling his dreams and dreaming happy thoughts about the world.
Interesting. All right. Well, there you go.
That's nice. Right. That makes me like that song more.
Me too, actually. Yeah.
And by more, I mean a touch.
At all?
A smooch. Yes, at all. Yes. But no, that was like as ubiquitous as Silent Lucidity was for, a few years back in the day. And, okay. So Franz Ferdinand has a song called Lucid Dreams, but that doesn't really, they don't really delve into the topic of it or anything like that. But several movies do really talk about. I mean, the most famous recent one is Inception. Did you see Inception?
I did, yes. The top, spinning top.
Yeah, and that was a great kind of movie. But that also combined lucid dreams with like everybody hanging out in their dreams. Like that, where you could go into someone else's dream.
That is pretty cool.
And so that's kind of like the first movie I remember seeing about that kind of thing of controlling your dreams is a movie called Dreamscape.
Okay. I don't think I've seen that one.
It's with that Dennis Quaid when he was a hunk. So the whole idea behind Dreamscape is that if you die in your dream, you die in real life. So that's
horrible.
Yeah.
Is that like the how kids in school used to always say, like, if you ever have a dream where you're falling down a long, like, pit or something, if you ever hit the bottom, then you're dead?
Yeah. Or I used to think that too, probably because I saw it in Dreamscape. Because
was that from that movie?
Yeah. But in dreams, I'd always watch other people die, but I never actually died. I would usually just be eaten or lose an arm or something like that when I'd have these nightmares, or be about to die, and then I would never actually be dead, and I would wake up as I was getting munched on. And in the movie though, if you die in any kind of way, then you have a heart attack and you seize up and you die in real life, and that's the kind of thing. And so that's what people would tell me. When you're little kids, they're like, what's going to happen if you fall off a building in a dream? If you hit the ground, right? They say if you hit the ground, you have a heart attack and you die. And you're like, first of all, you're a jerk for trying to scare me like that. Second of all, I did hit a couple years later, I did hit the ground in a few dreams and I did not die.
Yay!
Yes, so that is great. So I fell off. One time I fell off a cloud, I remember. One time I dumped out of a hot air balloon. And one time the side of a castle. And all the times I hit the ground and I did feel pain. And my neck was broken or something like that. But I did not die. So fantastic.
Yay!
So Dreamscape, they go into each other's dreams.
Okay.
And so the idea is that the president's having nightmares of a nuclear holocaust all the time. So the president's having all these kind of nightmares, and somebody's trying to assassinate him. So assassinate him by going into his dream while he's having these nightmares and killing the president in his dream.
Huh.
So the president's played by one of the guys from Escape from Witch Mountain. If you remember that movie?
Not really, no.
Psychic Kids from the 70s. It's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet. We might be talking about Escape from Witch Mountain on a different show. So Dreamscape was a good one that talked about people's, lucid dreams, Inception, obviously. But the one that really got into it about lucidity was Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3.
Absolutely, yes.
So, I mean, Freddy Krueger came about in a dream from Wes Craven, the director and the writer. And so Freddy did that. And by the time they get to the third movie, it's about a group of kids who are seeing a therapist, and they're all being attacked by Freddy. And the therapist is trying to get them to help them control their dreams so that they can fight back.
Cool.
And so they're the dream warriors, and so they get these powers in their dreams. Like, he does whatever. I mean, obviously, Freddy's arms get long, his tongue is 20 feet long, he gets a huge head, he turns into your bed and swallows you whole. Like, all those kind of things that Freddy Krueger does, because he's a real jerk.
Yeah.
And so the whole idea was, if he can do those things inside your dreams, then you can do things to defend yourself. So one, become a superhero or a ninja or all these kind of things. And so that's kind of thing. Nightmare on Elm Street 3 is the lucid dreams kind of, that's the one that really gets into it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's a classic. I don't know if it's a classic. When you go back and watch some of these movies now, like I've seen Dreamscape in the past 5 years, and it's all right for what it is in the early 80s. I've seen Nightmare on Elm Street 3, and it's not quite as scary as it was. Freddy Krueger's jokes kind of lose it after, it's 30 years on. You're like, this is super corny.
Right. But, I mean, classic insofar as it's something that, it's one of those movies that sticks with you after you see it as a child.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And children shouldn't be watching that movie.
Right. Totally. That's like wait till the parents go out for dinner and go to the video store and,
Right. It's a guy with claws for fingers that slashes people up. A child molester that was burnt to death and comes back in your dreams.
Gosh.
Okay, so they created a character, a child molester, that comes back from the dead to haunt your dreams.
That's terrifying.
And it's children's like, oh, what is he? He kills children? Yeah, and then he comes in your dreams, even though he's dead. So you can't stop him. Oh my God. So if you're a little kid, that's okay. All I'm saying is, I think a lot of other people were interested in lucid dreaming because of Nightmare on Elm Street. Like I was interested because of Night of the Living Dead.
I see. Yeah, totally. That makes sense. Maybe it helps some people.
Yes. Maybe Nightmare on Elm Street helps people. Freddy Krueger really got me through some things.
Hey, I'm just saying it's possible.
No, you're right.
If people, I mean, especially with the psychiatrists and stuff like.
Yes. No, I mean, right. It makes therapy okay too.
The technique.
Right. You don't have to be embarrassed by therapy.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, lucid dreams they're not really a paranormal thing, but I mean, the use of your mind and stuff like that. And the dream world is, I mean, some people do find paranormal things in the dream world. And we'll talk.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
And we'll talk about sometime. I mean, now we're talking about controlling your dreams, but some people have dreams where they see things in the future or see things where they thought they were in the past, or they
see aliens abducting them.
Yes. When do you ever have a dream about abducted by an alien?
I've had a lot of scary dreams, but I mean, I'm just saying, a lot of the alien abduction like theories and whatnot, sometimes they'll say, oh, the person was just dreaming. So were they or were they?
Well, I'll tell you what. So I woke up one time in a hypnagogic trance. Mm-hmm. After I read the book Communion. So I shouldn't be exposed to these things. Like, it's the fact that I'm exposed to these things that
it's giving you nightmares, man.
Right, it's totally giving me nightmares. And I sought it out. I know it's not it's my fault. It's not like, hey, I think that Whitley Strieber's horrible. Like, no, I saw an alien picture and I'm like, cool. And so I read the book and I was terrified. And so a few months later, I woke up and I saw little white faces around me. And I was frozen. Okay. But, I was still half dreaming. So then, the white faces faded out after about 10 seconds. But the thing is, it was that melding of, I still had something going on in my visual, in my visual cortex. I don't know.
I think that would be a good topic maybe for another whole show, because the whole, like, waking up and being frozen and seeing things and having them go in and out of your consciousness, I guess.
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of things going in and out, that's incubi and succubi right there. Like that's that is something we can definitely talk about. So right, the dream world is exciting and it's fun. And okay, a couple more things that I definitely want to get to for the people that want to do some lucid dreaming things.
Ooh.
We already talked about the reality check. You got to read a book, read a sentence, read a sign. Here's something. I'm looking at a site on lucid dreaming, and I'm just checking out to see if they have any new tips. Hold your nose and mouth shut and breathe. So, like this, breathe.
But I can't if they're both shut.
But you can in a dream. So in real life, if you do that too much, you'll die. But
and you can breathe through your ears in your dream.
Yeah,
is what you're saying.
Yeah, you can breathe through what ifs. I have gills. You have gills. Mirrors, does your reflection look normal in a mirror? If you look in a mirror, and all of a sudden, sometimes I'll look in a mirror and my nose is 9 inches long. And it's oh no, my nose totally grew. Because what do they say, that the nose never stops growing or whatever as you get older?
That's right, yeah.
I'll be oh no, I guess that's really true. It never stops growing. And so dreams have that weird kind of logic where all of a sudden you're obviously cows can talk. You've never talked to a cow before. And, you just act like it's all normal as everything. Of course I talked to him and what he said was, more grass, his third stomach hasn't had enough. And run. During a dream, if you run, you will feel like you are running in slow motion. Now that happens to me constantly. Whenever I try to run in a dream, it feels or try to shoot a gun or something like that. And I've shot a gun and I know how it feels and stuff, but nothing will happen. I try to shoot, nothing will happen. I'm well, that's it for me. And then I try to run and I can't run. I'm oh, I'm done. So
weird.
You felt that?
No, it's just weird. I haven't I haven't tried that hard to lucid dream, I guess.
Okay.
But I did have it happen once, crazily, where I could fly.
Nice.
Just by thinking really hard, okay, I just want to fly, and I'd put a certain thought in my mind, and all of a sudden I would just start lifting up, and it was so cool, and I was controlling myself, going different places, and it was one of those dreams that really felt real. So when I woke up, I was quite disappointed that I couldn't.
Yeah, I'd be too.
Fly.
I love it when you can fly in dreams. That's the best. So a lot of times when you realize you're dreaming, then this is one thing. So if you do the reality checks and stuff, and you realize that you're in a dream, and that you're in a dream, sometimes your body wakes you up. One of the tips is, and I read this one a long time ago, start spinning around. So start spinning your body around, and it'll help you stay inside the dream. It'll help you not wake up.
Wait. Spin, get out of bed and spin around
inside your dream. Don't get up and spin and wake up your partner like an a-hole and be hey, I'm spinning around. No.
Okay.
So just spin around and inside the dream, and that change of focus, that change of concentration will help you stay inside the dream. When you realize, because a lot of times you realize you're dreaming, and oh, look at the shit I'm gonna do now. I'm dreaming. Let's go crazy. And then all of a sudden you're no, wait, hold on. Your body's hey, it's time to wake up now. So you start spinning around. Another thing that I found is that I get a lot of REM sleep when I'm losing my religion.
I was waiting for it.
Hey.
But I'm bumped.
Right. So, no. But I get a lot of REM sleep in the last couple hours before I wake up. So if you try to wake up an hour and a half before you normally do, and then fall back asleep, it'll be easier to realize you're dreaming. It'll be easier to have really vivid dreams. And so just in that last couple hours, if you want a lucid dream, wake yourself up a little early, and then go back to sleep. And then kind of prepare for, you're going to get into a dream a lot faster than you do right when you go into the normal, you go to sleep and then you're hey, I hope I have a lucid dream. And then it takes you,
Right. The whole night.
Yes. So that's that for.
This-
And I've been told that if you're on the patch, if you're on the Nicoderm or whatever, that you have a lot of people who are on take the patch. They nicotine patches. They get crazy dreams.
That I have also heard, but I haven't heard anything about lucid dreaming. I've just heard about like wild, weird,
Yeah, but
Crazy.
a lot of times, wild and weird dreams can lead you to realizing you're dreaming. And then,
Yeah.
and then once you get that, once you understand you're realizing you're dreaming, then you can try to take some kind of control over it.
I suppose if you've been training for that.
Yeah, well, my sister also wanted to be a lucid dreamer, and so this isn't more recently. This is when we were little kids. But so there's a guy named Stephen LeBerge, and he's the kind of guy that you read about for lucid dreaming. He's the guy. He's got a lucid dreaming institute in Hawaii. Like he teaches in Hawaii, and so his life is obviously better than mine. But he's living in Hawaii and he just lucid dreams. It's like, why are you don't have to pretend you're somewhere. Like try the Midwest in February. Like I'm lucid dreaming about Hawaii. But he wrote a book exploring the world of lucid dreaming that really gets into it. And he also had a device that he sold called the Nova Dreamer or the Dream Light. And what that would do, you put it on your head when you go to sleep, right? So you put something on your head. And then it detects when you have REM sleep. Like it detects when
cool.
like the rapid eye movements. And then it flashes a light at you. Like not like a bright light, like, hey, like the police, what's going on in there?
But a little bit of stimulus.
It's like a red little bit of thing. And so you kind of have that. If you notice in your dream that you're seeing like a red light, that's your reality check. And so they don't sell that anymore. But what they do have now is apps. So you can do
something everyone can use.
You can do it with apps. Now, the app I've used is a free one, and I haven't done too much with this, but there's a guy named Richard Wiseman who's a really fun, interesting psychology research science out of the UK. And so he's behind this one called Dream On. And this one's an iOS-only one, but it has... it does the whole thing with triggers, and it has soundscapes you can pick to see if these things that you listen to in your dreams, affect your dreams. So if you're listening to New York City, they have a New York City soundscape. Do you dream about being in the city?
Oh, that's cool.
If you have that. And so then it's got a dream diary in it, and then they do experiments on it.
Sweet.
So it's a lot of it is, and there's little triggers in the soundscapes that'll try to let you know that you're dreaming, let you know that you're sleeping.
That is really cool.
And it monitors your sleep by if you, and there's other apps that do this for your health and stuff, but it monitors your sleep by telling you like what times of the night that you're rolling around, what times of the night that you're really into deep sleep and things like that. So
you don't have to put the phone on your eyes when you go to sleep.
No, you don't. It's not like the old
it doesn't
days.
detect.
No, it doesn't. It does rapid. If I could get my iPhone to detect rapid eye movement, that would there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with it. So, but for Android, there's one called Awoken.
Awoken
is a lucid dreaming app, and it's the same thing. It's got the reality check reminders, but it'll give you reality check reminders during the day. So it'll be like hey, like you get a push notification. Hey, am I dreaming? Check on your dreaming. And so, and then it's got the dream journal and the triggers and stuff like that. And it'll do the same kind of thing. So Awoken is the thing to check out if you're into Android. So, and there's a couple more iOS apps, but I haven't tried them. But Awoken for Android and Dream On for iOS. And then you can have a lucid dreaming adventure tonight.
Cool. And we'll put links in the show notes. And if anybody tries either of those and has anything to report, we'd be real curious.
And I know we'll come back to lucid dreams because if you guys have any lucid dreams, then let us know about it, and then we'll talk about your lucid dreams, and we'll talk about it. So we'll revisit this topic because we haven't even gotten to dream yoga and the Indian mystical connections to lucid dreams because we could go on for a long time about it. So anyway, all right. Well, thanks for listening, and why don't we get to a little song, Wendy?
That sounds like a great idea.
All right, here we go.
All right, coming right up. Show notes for today's podcast are available online at othersidepodcast.com/2.
Dreams can be a very scary place, and for today's Sunspot song, we want to take you to that land between sleeping and waking up. Here's our track, Hypnagogic.
I wake up in the night, still awake but paralyzed, and you are there, hovering over me. I can't believe my eyes, trusting myself is unwise, but there you are, hovering over me. My better nature tells me this is a fairy story, but without trying I can feel you. An undigested bit of beef that brings back animality, and in this moment you are here. Dream of my invention, cannot conform to comprehension. Lost in hypnagogia again. A waking dream of my invention, cannot conform to comprehension. Lost in hypnagogia again. Animated figments, ambiguous in their malignance, have opened up a portal over me. Wondering if these phantasms are weighing all my malefactions, and are they here for my reckoning? A chance to recreate the circumstance of my mistakes, to speak the language of the speechless. In the shadow of moonlight, is this the way to make things right? Or are you the core of my weakness? Of my invention, cannot conform to comprehension. Lost in hypnagogia again. A waking dream of my invention, cannot conform to comprehension. Lost in hypnagogia again. Immobile and be dazed by the look upon your face. I am both in awe and terrified. A moment to connect with what I had on such effect. What urge do you need satisfied? Apology or a decree, some rare form of alchemy, some otherworldly threat, something that hasn't happened yet. Or just some subconscious scheme to straighten out this Philistine. And it's only a dream. Our better nature tells me this is a fairy story. Without trying I can feel you. In the shadow of moonlight, is this the way to make things right? Or in this moment you are here. To comprehension, lost in hypnagogia again. A waking dream of my invention, cannot conform to comprehension, lost in hypnagogia again. Morpheus can reach your mind, Morpheus will always find all the things we keep inside, all the things we try to hide. Morpheus can reach your mind, Morpheus will always find all the things we got inside, all the things we try to hide. Morpheus can reach your mind, Morpheus will always find all the things we got inside, all the things we try to hide. Morpheus can reach your mind, Morpheus will always find all the things we got inside, all the things we try to hide.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. You can find us online at othersidepodcast.com. Until next time, see you on the other side.